Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing?
It's morning for some.
I am a bit better, exactly right. Folks, I'm honored to be here today with you. Be here with my colleague, Bill Keating. Be here with our state senator, Paul Feeney, as well, labor leader extraordinaire in Massachusetts. I'm honored to be here with Lisa, with the people of UFCW. And I come here more than anything else to say thank you to you folks on the front lines today that are fighting not just for your own families, but for every single working family, middle-class family across this country. For every single family out there that is struggling to make ends meet. For every single family put in a position to have to choose between your own well-being and a job. To choose between your own economic future and your health care. To choose between going to work for a very meager raise that goes right out the door of healthcare costs at a time when a parent company sits on $2 billion in profit. At a time when you work hour after hour, shift after shift to serve a community, to make sure that they are fed and cared for, to care for your own families, to help make a company profitable. To then be stabbed in the back and tell you good luck as you try to make your own economic ends meet. This fight that you are fighting here is being played out on the front lines of community after community across our country. And that fight has come to our doorstep. And you, the folks working at this store, have taken it on your shoulders to say, we will not be rolled. You're going to fight for our families, for our future, for our country. For all those families standing next to you, the 30,000 employees Stop and Shop, and the tens of thousands and millions of others around the country facing those same economic challenges. Whatever you need, you got it from us 100%. I'm going to stand by your side. Keep fighting. We fight with you. Thank you.
So I just want to take this time to thank our Fall River Police who have been here, who have protected our public, who have protected our workers. Thank you so much for your support. Now we have Congressman Keating.
Thank you, Lisa. It's great to be here. My colleague Joe, Paul, you made it down from Quincy. I don't know how you did that, like you did. And it's great to be with all of you that are here. And we're here, not just with UFCW, but we're here in solidarity with other union groups. I noticed in the line that the pipe fitters were represented here. I see the bricklayers are represented here. And I'm leaving other people out that are represented here. I too want to thank our police officers who are here, making sure that our democratic process is being conducted safely. They're doing a great job, and thank you for what you do every day to keep us safe, and thank you for allowing us to be here and express ourselves in this great country. And I want to tell you, I've been, earlier this week, since I've been back, I've been to the Dartmouth store, and I looked in the windows. You can go in, but I looked in the windows.
Thank you!
And the aisles were empty. The store was done. And I went into the Plymouth Stop and Shop earlier this week, and I went in there, and it was absolutely dark. And they had the big banner up there that said, "Now hiring." No one was going in. And this from a store, this from this is from a corporation that profited $2.1 billion last year, from a corporation that's not worried about market share. They're over 40% of the market share in Western Mass and over 20% of the market share in Eastern Mass, so they're not suffering. So why are we here? That's a good question, because it's a lot bigger than just this store and this chain and your effort. You know, when I was in Plymouth, I talked to a woman that was out at the picket line. And she was sitting there, had a sign like so many of you did, and I began talking to her. And she said, she just shook her head and said, "I've worked for this company for 41 years. And she just said, and now it's come to this. So what is this? I look back at our country's inception to try and see what we've had for values. And early on in our country, there used to be the harvest. People would come together. People would join each other in each other's farm. They'd work together to make sure everyone's fed. And your work is the modern day harvest, where you are integral to people putting food on the table. Without you, it doesn't happen. And instead of that community of interest, what we have is people trying to divide us and move away from those values of sharing into greed. I told that 41-year veteran of this store, there's one thing I want you to know. Look around you. And there were scores of her colleagues out there in bad weather, out there standing up, not just for each other. I said, you know, you're not alone. But what impresses me the most is you could have easily, after 41 years, said, I'll take a modest pay increase, and I'm not going to be here very long. And that's someone else's problem. And that's what we're talking about, not just here, but in our country as a whole, whether it's healthcare issues that divide us as they are here, whether it's the ability to have a decent retirement that we're talking about here. These are American values that are on the line, and they're trying to divide us, and one of the last union outfits for any retail grocery store is being challenged to try and see if you'll shut the door behind you. And you have said no, because you're standing up for the people that are coming up behind you. You could say, I'll take mine, and I'll shut the door, but you're not. Because I know one of the issues is, all right, sign off the pension rights for everyone coming behind you. And they thought in today's culture that you'd do that. But you didn't.
No way!
Because you care about the people behind you. You care about the generation that's coming up behind you. And by looking at that and caring about the people behind you, we're going to have a country that cares about what's ahead of us all. And that means treating people fairly, having a middle class that's an economic strength for our country, and making sure people have the decency of being able to have affordable, accessible health care and something to retire on. Thank you for thinking of all those other people, because that's what this is about. You have my admiration beyond words. You're risking everything to help other people. Thank you for doing it. And when you do that, I'll tell you this, you're not going to be judged by the size of the harvest. We're judged by the seeds that we plant. You are planting seeds that are going to maintain the values of this country for years to come. Thank you. We will be successful if we stick together.
So we've been planting seeds, right? People before us have been planting seeds long before some of us were